Welcome to No Step on Snack Gaming. This is a brand new channel that will first center its content around a Halo lore series dedicated to the weapons, ships, and factions that are currently in use within the Halo franchise. Today we are going over an infantry weapon that is absolutely ubiquitous for all of the UNSC. But before we start here, I'm going to lead off by saying that those of you that are hardcore Halo lore fans, you will immediately spot a continuity change that I made. It is rather small, yes, but I'll list my reasons for it at the end of the video. For those of you that spot this change immediately, I'm very interested in seeing who is as much of a nerd on this particular subject as I am. Now, the MA5 ICWS, or Infantry Combat Weapon System. You cannot start a weapons series dedicated to the infantry or revolving around it without first starting with the rifleman's mainstay. The MA5 series rifle is a magazine-fed, gas-operated, air-cooled, shoulder-fired bullpup assault rifle designed to be a versatile frontline small arm that excels in close quarters. Developed by Misraya Armory, the rifle fires 7.62 by 51mm armor-piercing ammunition and has proven to be an exceptionally resilient weapon system. Since its introduction as the MA37, also referred to as the MA5, it was adopted by the UNSC in 2437, and quickly earned itself a reputation as a rifle that could function under any circumstances and in nearly any environment. With a modularity, versatility, and reliable function not seen since the ancient, war-savvy 21st century American civilization introduced their M4. The MA5 has stood the test of time, with the oldest variant still in use with the Army, and saw action until after the fall of Reach, when it was then supplanted by the MA5C. So it's not surprising that in over a century of service, both the infantry and Misraya have made a number of different iterations, enhancements, and specialized variants to the MA5 line of rifles. For instance, a favorite variant for the Navy, including its Spec War arm, and one that was heavily used en masse during the Halo event that followed the fall of Reach, was the MA5B and the MA5K. The MA5K being a short-barreled, suppressor-compatible version of the MA5B. With the tight quarters provided on board UNSC vessels, it makes sense to have a variant of MA5 with a smaller diameter caliber that increases both the standard magazine size, which was at the time from 32 to 60, and increased the rate of fire from 600 to 900 rounds per minute. The smaller, faster-moving ammunition had a tendency to pierce through more than one individual unshielded target. So with a combination of this and a much higher firing rate than the standard Marine Corps and Army rifles, it yielded a devastating close-quarters rifle, especially in the hands of a properly trained Marine, ODST, or Spartan. It did have its own individual drawbacks, though. Changes to the gas system and magazine yielded a slightly annoying quirk that slowed down weapons manipulation, that which forced the operator to manually lock the action to the rear in order to properly load a new magazine and chamber a new round. This gas system change also affected the receiver's overall stability quite a bit during automatic fire, which greatly harmed its accuracy, and the ammunition change greatly reduced its kinetic force at any reasonable distance. What this means is that while it and its little brother, the MA5K, were devastating inside of rooms and short hallways, that was about all they were really good for. The MA5C was the official replacement to the MA5 and saw the UNSC through the end of the Covenant War. This design was rather short-lived, however, because further redesigns to increase the versatility of the rifle led to the MA5D. These redesigns include a suppressor-compatible muzzle brake that flattened out the individual recoil impulse, provisions to mount optics, recoil jets to further counter its recoil impulse, especially in 0G, and a smart link scope that comes with it as standard issue equipment. In the hands of mainline infantry, this is a hard-hitting, versatile, and reliable rifle that should be in the hands of many in all operations that dictate the use of force. However, in the hands of a Spartan, the opinions are slightly different. With the nature of operations run by Spartans, they often encounter very high-ranking, heavily armored, and shielded foes. This makes weapon selection more difficult on many levels and tapers back the effectiveness of the MA5D significantly. Spartans, with their enhanced bodies, reflexes, and armor, are more apt to use the MA5 similar to a sidearm when their BR-55s momentarily go down, or as a, quote, shield breaker firearm that still retains some versatility against other targets at closer distances. Some stating that even though they have run the same ammunition, for some reason the MA5D tends to shut down body shielding a little faster or in fewer rounds. Whether it's used as the backbone of the infantry or as a secondary for a Spartan with a battle rifle, the rifle still inspires confidence regardless to whose hands are holding it. Some would even argue that because of him, the MA5 has saved us all. I hope you guys appreciated this individual little video here. This is my first attempt at anything like this, and it's very difficult to kind of put all this kind of stuff together. Now, the continuity issue there, the craziness behind that was that, like, I'm a gun guy myself, so looking at certain things like this kind of irritates me just a little bit, because as far as a small arm is concerned, the MA5B is stated to have the same ammunition as the MA5C, the original MA5, and the MA5D. But the problem is that if you were to try to make a 60-round magazine for that, especially with 308 or 7.62 by 51 millimeter ammunition, that magazine would stop at like the bottom of your rib cage. It would be an incredibly long, impossible sized magazine that would be a little ridiculous, as well as the fact that even if it has terrible accuracy, there's no reason that a rifle round that size would impact almost harmlessly after a few meters. So that was the only reason really for the continuity change there. So, you know, you guys can love it or hate it. Just let me know what you guys think in the comments box below, and let me know what you guys think about my first attempt to do this whole thing. So, I appreciate it, guys, and remember, don't step on my snack.